Recording, and I'm gonna start the stream. Welcome to Horsin Around, a dumbass cast. I'm your host, Nick Mercadante. With me today, I have three amazing guests. If you'd like to introduce yourselves in the order that we decided.
Hi, I'm Lul's dad who just walked away in the background of the screenshot.
Special guest, Lul's dad.
Hey, Dad! Jacob says hi!
Jesus Christ. How's your dad doing, Lul?
Pretty good, you know?
That's good.
He's home today, because it's the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Lul, what are you
He's
drinking?
hanging out. Huh?
What are you drinking?
Well, this is wine, and I have vodka over there.
Why are you drinking wine out of a whiskey, like...
What do you want me to do? Get the fucking real glasses?
You gotta have wine glasses for wine. Jesus.
I'll drink out of a goddamn goblet if I want to. It's
That's
fucking
the least little
sangria.
problem. What motherfucker goes, it's Saturday at noon, fucking wine time, boys.
I've had alcohol sitting in my house with nobody to drink it with for fucking ever.
Okay.
This is the closest thing I have to
That's
hanging out with
your
friends.
dad's right there.
Well, not now.
Alright, before we keep going off on this
doesn't
tangent,
drink.
we have one more guest that we should introduce if you'd like to say hi.
I think we only introduced my dad. We didn't introduce anybody on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, true. No, that is Lul's dad now. That is Mr. Mescal. But...
Lul, get better grades.
You know what? I got a 4.0 this semester because 2 classes just don't touch my GPA.
Nice.
Christ alive. Alright, if you guys would like to actually introduce yourselves, please, for once.
What was the order?
Well, man, so one of these weeks we'll get it right, you know? Eventually.
Alright,
someday.
I'm just gonna start.
Yeah.
Hi. I'm Beekman.
Hi, Beekman. How's it going? Thank you so much for just saying your name. It's all you have
Hi.
to do.
Oh. Hi,
It's-
I'm Lul.
I can't do it. Hello, my name is Jacob.
Thank fucking God. Is it that difficult, Jacob? Is it that hard? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Then Lul's dad squashed in the background and that just, man, threw him
Just-
for a loop.
Just killed everything. Anyways, how are you guys doing? How's your week been so far? Pretty alright.
I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do a coding challenge for a company, and they were like, all right, we do it all in JavaScript, and I was like, I don't. Oh God. So I spent a week trying to learn JavaScript and React, and then I was like, I'm just gonna not. I'm not gonna get this done in time. I'd rather go to somebody who actually needs it. That's been
Damn.
my week.
Okay.
If I learned anything from ID Tech, is that you don't have to know anything about coding until the.
Well, see, that's why I'm applying to iTech. I have an interview on Tuesday, and I might be teaching kids online now, which will be it'll be a thing. If they make me teach iJam again, I'm gonna fucking cry.
Well, I'm gonna let you in a little secret. You've already taught iJam.
I don't want to do it again.
Actually, I think they got rid of iJam. I think they might have.
They definitely still have Java modding with Minecraft, so like.
Is iGam different from what you were talking about yesterday with the Minecraft modding, or?
No, iJam is just like the course code that they have for that course.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So intro Java, Minecraft, something, I don't know.
They replaced Java modding for Minecraft with Arma 3 modding.
Oh,
Good luck.
It's still group 2s. Those 9-year-olds are gonna learn today.
That'd be fucking amazing. Oh, yeah.
This is how you configure the ACE medical module, kids.
So they have
Have
you.
fun.
You have to interview
my
again.
6 kind of cringe, bro.
Jesus Christ. So they have you interview again, even though you've already worked for them before.
Yeah, I mean they have anybody interview again, but I figure it's gonna be a good bit easier because they're like, "Do you have any experience teaching?" And I was like, "Well, I taught with you guys." And like, "Do you have any experience with kids?" And I was like, "Well, I was a camp counselor, and also I taught with you guys."
Yeah, it's
So it's partially like a screen test, so they want you to make sure that you're good on like camera and you have a good like internet connection and camera and microphone, all that stuff.
Okay.
And they want to make sure that you can like actually like be engaging over the internet, which I fingers crossed, right? I think I have that somewhat down.
Mm-hmm.
And then also just like, do you know how to teach thing to child?
No. I say play Minecraft and that's it. Go off.
The answer is no. I worked for ID Tech. That's the breadth of my teaching experience.
I taught at a martial arts camp. I helped me deal with kids. Not going to teaching them. Not going to doing any online like roundhouses, but you know.
Martial arts camp is more fake teaching than ID Tech is.
Yeah, we have to deal with more annoying kids.
I guess that's true.
But hey, if they're being rowdy, you just kick them in the face, right? And then that's just their instruction.
No, that's how you get fired.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean?
Sued.
Are you telling me you don't get to beat up kids in martial art camp at all?
No.
No.
What's the point?
If you want to fight people in martial arts camp, you gotta like take a class and spar somebody. But like, I'm not gonna get matched up against an 8-year-old.
Right, but like, are you teaching them by sparring with them?
No. Well, like you can like teach them how to do the move, but you don't actually like, right? Like the only thing you're actually making like full contact is like when you're sparring with pads on, and then there's like it's not like weight classes, but like somebody close to like your age. Like, the one time I sparred somebody who wasn't close to my age, I was taking my black belt test, and there was this like 60-year-old woman, and like she was the last person to spar, and everybody was really tired. And like, I was like, all right, I mean, you're the last person. There's nobody for you to pick that hasn't sparred yet, so just pick somebody. And she picked me, and I was like, all right, I guess. And then I kicked her in the face. That wasn't on purpose. Look, man, I wanted to do a side kick to hit her in the chest. I guess because I was so tired, I was really limber, and I side kicked instead hit her in the fucking like face and did a black eye.
That's not usually how being tired works. You usually don't go higher when you're tired.
I was limberer.
Yeah, what he's saying is body control was not as precise.
I see.
You was just throwing them out there, and when you just throw them out there, they sometimes.
Sometimes they do not hit their intended target.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Well, I hope you landed, I guess. Get some money in the bank.
Please, I need money.
How many hours a week is that, like, for you?
I think it ranged from 12.5 to 30.
Okay.
So not enough to be, like, full-time, but also I don't need the co-op credit, so, like, who cares?
Right. How much is the pay? Is it, like, minimum wage? Better than that?
18 an hour?
Okay, that's not bad. That's better than
which is why I was like, if I can't get an actual co-op, I'll go here. If I can't get this, I'll take like another job that's like minimum wage or whatever. But
yeah, not that
min max what you can get.
Right. Yeah, not that there's much out there having openings for positions right now for just like basic ass work. So
yeah.
Do you have a nursing certificate?
No.
Well,
just go to nursing school real quick.
I suppose I could just take one of the other degrees in my family and be like, my name.
Just be like
It'll
walking.
be great. That means that my mom goes to work, and when she goes to work at the hospital, she gets risk of getting exposed. And my dad works in healthcare, although less risk, but he's supposed to go to work so he can get exposed. And then I can go to work and also get exposed.
Look, if everybody's exposed, nobody's exposed. It's like that syndrome quote, all right?
And that's why Murky argues we need to open the states back up.
Exactly. Look, we need to get our kids back into school this fall, all right?
Yeah,
that's what it's...
Top like 100,000 people? Fuck them.
All I'm saying, sure, flatten the curve. It'll take more time. Or we just build Everest now, and then in a couple weeks, we're good.
Then we're good. Everybody, herd immunity, right? Everybody's got it.
If the herd is 7 people if the herd becomes 8 people who are now immune, what's the big deal?
The Last Dance has been the top of the conversation for everybody, and to quote the great Michael Jordan, "Fuck them kids."
Oh no. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, I am really interested. So, like, I've definitely seen both sides of the coin now. Potter is, like, almost 100% sure that they're going to be opening up everything, and, like, Ram is on the other side of the coin, where it's, like, they can't be, because dangerous. And I really don't know what they're going to do. They seem like they're fucked either way.
There's a difference between, like, you're right. You don't know what you're going to do. The real answer is you stop COVID from spreading to the extent it has about 5 months ago.
Yeah.
Oopsies.
That is the big fix.
Oopsie doodle.
And then before that part, you hope that the Chinese government was more
open and honest about what the fuck was happening.
What this actually was happening. There's a lot of things, but barring that.
All right, so we go back in time about 3 million years to make bats go extinct, and then we're good.
No, because then mosquitoes will be even worse. We can't do that.
Look, we've
And then
handled
from-
malaria's
you make
fine.
Spiders stronger to kill the mosquitoes.
Oh my god.
No, fuck spiders, bro. I ain't fucking with that.
We domesticate the spiders to be our friend.
This is the bringing the mongoose to fucking Hawaii all over again. Yeah, but
the other problem is that the other solution is have everyone stay home and then like redistribute wealth so people don't starve to death. But the problem is that then you go, hey J-Pow, what do you think of that? And he goes, too busy printing cash. Must print cash faster.
Cash machine go brrrr.
oh god, yeah. You're also just asking.
Happier news: Virginia just decriminalized weed.
Hey!
If you get caught with weed, it's only $25 civil fine now, which means we can just go to DC and then buy weed because it's highly decriminalized there, and then just come back across the border, and who fucking cares?
That's fucking hilarious.
Unfortunately, the weed rules have always been differently in Virginia, depending on who you are. So there's a better change for some, unfortunately.
Look, June 1st, it's coming to decriminalize. I'm gonna go buy myself a pen. But I'm fucking ready. All right.
Fucking Christ.
What are you gonna do? Piss test me? I'm not even in the same fucking state as the job.
Just piss like really far, like distance piss all the way to the on-site location.
The pee from state to state.
They mail you.
The golden
arches.
arches.
All right, we use the honor system.
I can only imagine like the fucking Lowell at the fucking Potomac, and there's some Virginia cop standing by, and he's pissing across state lines. We can't get him.
like a giant like fly swatter just trying to like interfere with the stream. Like, not enough to get across.
They get a like confirmed weed addict or somebody to like piss to cross the streams with you to interfere with your submissions. Oh my fucking god. Ay. Yeah, but like I'm really curious to see if they go all online, if they're gonna offer like reduced tuition, or at the very least not charge for fucking housing that nobody's gonna be able to use, because like the freshmen are forced to live on campus, but if it's all online, then that's bullshit.
I can see the housing thing, but there's no way in fuck is RAT being like, all right, well, reduce tuition.
But like,
I mean, like, so I don't think that they have like that anybody who already goes to school has any real leverage. RAT will just tell you to go fuck yourself. Like, what are you gonna do? Not graduate, asshole?
Right.
But like the army of freshmen with like naive parents who actually think that RAT gives a shit might have a chance of making them reduce tuition.
Right. Especially because they literally just got accepted in like January or February before all this shit hit, and we're expecting to go to a full-time like on-campus learning experience, and then RAT's like, well, no, actually you're gonna be going online.
Yes,
Suck
but
our
actually
cocks.
no.
Yeah.
Look, all I'm saying is when Dessler was in charge, no pandemic. Munson in charge, pandemic.
Damn.
Facts.
Damn.
The man's
When the world needed him most.
yeah, he vanished. Yeah, although he was on the graduation stream. I saw that when they were going through all the different groups. They had
Fuck.
Dessler and his banjos saying congrats. Now the Munson just doesn't know how to control the weather machine. That's the real problem.
Is the pandemic a weather event?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's weather.
I don't know, man.
It can be carried across the air, so I don't know.
There you go. Yeah, if he just controls the weather machine to just blow the winds away from Rochester nonstop, then we wouldn't have had any outbreaks here. It would have been fine. Yeah. What have you guys been playing lately?
Playing some Valorant, playing some Apex, got to gold,
Nice.
and now everybody's really hard to kill, and it's really scary. Everybody got really good the minute I got out of silver.
Nice.
It's like some weird hit reg bug with the new season. Did that get fixed pretty quickly?
Allegedly got fixed like last patch. I'm not good enough at the game to actually be confident when my shots land, so I didn't notice it. But from what I've heard, it got fixed like sometime last week.
Okay.
There are still weird bugs where the game will crash for no reason. Like you'll just be in the middle of a ranked game and you'll just crash out. And they thankfully added like the ability to join back in. But if you're about to start an engagement or the circle's moving and you crash out, you can't join back in for like a minute to like relaunch the game. At that point, you're probably just dead. And it said it has to do with like being on high settings. So I turned all my shit down to medium, and I don't think I've had a crash since then, but I don't fucking know, man. I just built this fucking computer, and now it's like, joke's on you, asshole. You can't use it.
Don't work right. Got him.
Got him. As soon as he fixes the computer, the game gets broke.
Why not just build another computer?
Look, man. I waited so long to build this. Like, I was like, I don't want to. Like, I felt like I finally was like ready to build it. And I was like, we're going to announce new parts. I want to get the new parts. Finally fucking build it. And they're like, Ryzen 4's coming soon. B550, it exists. Oh, new GPUs? Maybe. And I'm like, I waited a year and a half. I built the computer a week later.
That is the classic. That is the classic PC hardware experience. Is like the minute you purchase hardware, suddenly it is now obsolete. So, welcome to the experience.
Isn't there like a typical time of year where they usually like drop the announcements about the new stuff or like put out the new stuff?
And like that time of year passed like twice with no announcement.
Oh, well then I don't think you could really be mad about yourself about that. Like that's just shitty luck of the draw, yeah.
But also, Lisa Sue was waiting in Lul's house. They're looking at his Amazon cart. They're like, when he's gonna fucking do it. All right, that's the go signal. Go.
Liam Middlebrook has been tracking your status on building a computer.
Use NVIDIA GPU now.
Oh my god. But for I'm sorry. Yeah, go. What's up?
I've been playing just, the usual Call of Duty and that new XCOM Chimera Squad.
How is that?
It's out already?
Mm-hmm.
Chimera Squad? Yeah, it came out. It was weird because they announced it and then they announced it this is coming out in 2 weeks. It's cool. It is very different from base XCOM, so I think it's good for people who perhaps didn't enjoy the way XCOM or XCOM 2, the Firaxis games, worked.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very different in that rather than, generated characters, they have these randomly generated characters, they have these, authored characters with like distinct voices and personalities and like unique abilities. Like each character has unique skill tree rather than being a specific class type.
Okay.
And it's neat. Like the levels are very, like these smaller, like tactical levels, like assaulting through buildings. And they changed up the turn system, so you alternate between moving one of your characters and then the enemy team. So it's got like a timeline rather than, moving every person on your side and then the aliens go. You have aliens in your squad because it's like the game's story takes place after the ending of XCOM 2 and the sort of alien invasion is over and there's like,
trying to coexist TM.
Yeah, the society, because like in the story of XCOM 2, you find out, some of these aliens were being used to invade Earth. They were essentially being subjugated and used as like cannon fodder and stuff like that.
Lovely.
So you have aliens in your party, which is cool. They have different abilities and unique and the turn system is neat because the game becomes like you trying to find ways to like cancel out enforce the enemy players, the enemy team's troops further down this timeline, so you can get back to the classic XCOM of all my guys go and then all your guys go, so I can like deal maximum damage in a turn. So there are a lot of interesting abilities to that. Also, because you're technically cops, like there's July, so it's just hilarious where you got 4 of your guys around a giant Muton, they're all just like fucking beat them. You're like, it's like, man, you guys gotta like reinvent beanbag shotguns that work on aliens, or I guess some characters have like little taser like things. So
that's what's weird is they have the option to give you trank like.
Oh yeah, you can get trank rounds,
but they're also like, but like like here's like a fuck ton of other different types of ammo you get
Yeah.
throughout the game that's like 1,000 times better.
It's like
than,
I'm like, man, a lot of these guys got armor now. I need these shredder rounds.
Like the real world, a real bullet much easier putting somebody down than a trank round.
Whoa! What? Wild.
There's abilities like I have this sectoid character who had a lot of the mental psi abilities in the previous XCOM games, but he's on my team now, and so he has the ability where, and when you upgrade him enough, essentially that he has this ability to like mind stun people and do all the abilities, and when you do that, it puts him on the neural network, which increases his aim.
Mm-hmm.
But also when you further level him up, you have the ability where if any of the people who are on his neural network get killed, they are instead rendered unconscious somehow. I'm not really sure how it works, but it's really hilarious. Like I got all these people networked, and then one of my other teammates just runs up and it's just like, "Yo, check out this fucking shotgun!" Boom! It's like, somehow he's not dead.
That's fine. He shrugged it off. It was just a flesh wound.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of does because it is set up like that. It kind of runs on that Saturday morning cartoon logic sometimes.
Yeah.
We're just like, yeah, this is like the A-Team kind of.
Yes.
So like a couple of times where it's like, the parachutes,
Yeah. Oh no, the Cobra has shot down a fighter. We're going to eject at the last second. No one ever dies.
Hmm.
Yeah, it does. You're right. That's a very good way to describe it. It does have a bit of a Saturday morning cartoon energy to it. But it's cool. Yeah.
I heard that it
think
was like a teaser for an upcoming like full length XCOM game of that style. Or something.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, they could certainly pursue this more. I'm not sure. 'Cause, I mean, it is so different in structure because rather than like the big Earth strategic layer, you just have the city, and you're doing these kind of very basic things with the map. And like they have, in a lot of ways, streamlined a lot of the strategic layer of traditional XCOM down. And for a lot of people, that's a big appeal. Is sort of the globe-trotting nature, making these big level decisions and like having to produce ships and equipment and upgrade all the stuff and like replace your losses when they die. And that's another thing because people get attached to their soldiers that they create and they name and they customize, and obviously they have authored characters here who have their own personalities and stuff. And also
There's no permadeath in this one.
there's no permadeath. If you character bleed, like, because characters can go down, they can be wounded and essentially be in like, oh, they're bleeding out, and then you can stabilize them, and later you get medics who upgrade who can revive them back into the battle. But if you character dies in a mission, you got to restart the mission.
Really interesting.
Yeah. I haven't had that happen yet because
You're
I'm
god
pretty
of
good
games.
at video games.
Whoa.
I don't know if you knew that about me, but I'm a I
Guys.
couldn't even say I'm a gamer without the bile rising in my mouth.
It's okay, man.
Christian Beekman is actually prejudiced against gamers. You heard it here
People
first.
don't understand. Like, okay, so this is great. Giant Bomb, during this whole pandemic thing, they've been doing a bunch of streaming content and stuff. But one of the things they've been doing is they they revived, because Giant Bomb was made up of a bunch of ex GameSpot people. They revived the podcast they made in 2004 called The Hotspot. And like they use the same theme music and intro style and everything. It's great.
Did it die in 2004? Like, how long of a break has it been between the show ending and this restarting?
It ended around the time Jeff Gertzman and that crew left, so 2007, 2008. It wasn't the last time. So,
oh, okay. So almost more than 10 years.
Yeah. And so they since a bunch of people at Giant Bomb have been working in the game industries for like 20 years at this point, they have a lot of stories and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're just talking about on recent episodes about like how they did reviews and stuff, and like what people, and at one point they bring up the style guide for GameSpot, like here's the glossary of terms of like stuff to use. There's just some really funny terms like blood party for like a first person shooter when you jib someone.
Jesus Christ.
It's a real blood party experience. It's like, oh wow. Very 90s. But they also brought up how like don't use the word gamer, because the word gamer is a marketing term. Like companies like EA in the in the 90s, 2000s when it first like, this game's for the game. And, like it was like, and like now everyone's like, it's like, no, bro, that's a like you're literally using the marketing.
I mean,
so
sure, but what else are you gonna?
That's when I hear the word gamer, that's what I think of. It's just like, come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as long as if they drop the hard R, they mean business. So.
Oh, yeah, I guess. And they're probably also more likely to drop something else with a hard R. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Speaking of just like gamer culture, I was like, we have to advance some bit. Like, but then I watched the Donkey video in Valorant. I was like, nah, we're still using the same shit we did back in like 2002. Holy shit.
It's literally it hasn't changed. It was like, that Valorant video was pretty much almost exactly the same as his fucking, was it his Black Ops 4 video? Or he did another, like, first-person shooter video that was almost exactly the same kind of content.
I mean, Donkey makes those videos, like, every couple of years because he knows it's going to be the exact same.
Right! It's just pointing out, like, that the communities are basically the exact same between all of these games. History just repeats itself over and over again. And it's just kind of comedic at this point. But yeah, I found out very tangential to the Chimera Squad stuff, but the other day I was booting up Civ 6 to do some solo play, and I know you will have some interest in this, Jacob, but I swear to God, the sound effect that they used on the new, like, you know how they have the new, like, Fire Axis launcher that, like, has, like, a hub for all of the, it's like XCOM 2 and Civ 6 and Chimera Squad, all loaded in there. So if you go to the Civ 6 thing, and it might be true for the other games, I haven't looked at those menus, but like if you are mousing over the play button, it makes the exact same sound effect as the like confirmation from Jurassic Park Operation Genesis when you were like clicking on button use eyes and stuff. And I was just like, it sounded so distinct that
They probably licensed the same stock sound effects library.
I have to assume, yeah. I just was so surprised to hear it pop up there. I was just like, well, that's a welcome surprise.
It's like when sounds it's like in sounds in Half-Life.
Yeah.
Half-Life 2 popped up in other Valve games, and you were just like...
Well, that's just because they had, like, the source engine, right? Yes. And that's just the library that was...
But it's just weird, because, like, you associate that so much with sound, and you're just like,
Yeah. Although, I will say, like, you could make an argument that helps them, like... I mean, I know these days Valve doesn't give a shit, but, like, they were at one point trying to sort of build some kind of shared universe thing with, at least between Half-Life and Portal.
No, this is more like hearing Half-Life sounds in, like, the Dota launcher or something like
that. Okay. I thought you meant games like
what?
Portal and, like, Left 4 Dead and stuff. Okay.
No.
What are you talking about? Half-Life and Dota are the same game.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
Oh, God.
Gordon Freeman, newest hero in Dota. Free the Freeman. Have you guys seen that? I haven't like investigated it too much personally, but I've experienced a lot of people going off on this Half-Life VR AI experience thing, where some guy went through a VR playthrough of the original Half-Life, but also all of the NPCs in the game were controlled by some kind of like smart learning AI or something, where they would just they would use a voice processor to generate voices that sounded like basically like how the scientists and like the Black Mesa guards would sound in that game, but their dialogue is all AI generated, like it's completely original audio, and they could just say whatever.
So what you're saying is when I kiss the G-Man in Half-Life 1, he'll react back and tell me he loves me too?
I mean, apparently part of this whole thing is that, like, the G-Man is just, like, a cool dad who, like, threw, like, a birthday party for Gordon with Gatorade or something. I have no idea.
Gotta get those electrolytes, Gordon.
Yeah.
Down there in Black Mesa.
Half-Life, but the AI self-aware is also known as Half-Life VR Self-Aware AI, abbreviated to Half-Life VR AI, is a 2020 improv role-playing comedy series originally streamed and archived by the Wayne Radio TV Twitch channel, later heavily edited and uploaded to YouTube. The plot revolves around Gordon Freeman's journey through Blast Mesa with it's only four AI-controlled characters. Dr. Coomer, Bubby, Tommy, and Benry. They encounter other characters such as Horsin, a member of the HECU, and Darnold. I just want to see how they do the AI stuff. But yeah, apparently it's breathing new life into the Half-Life franchise, I guess.
Yeah, a
It's a new game in the Half-Life franchise. What do you mean breathing new life?
Oh,
no
right. I
Half-Life.
kind of forgot about Alex, to be quite honest.
That's the Half-Life VR thing I'm still talking about it in the beginning.
I just want to see where they talk about imagination. I don't know. I need to do more investigation into this, but like if it's truly just like completely randomly generated, like just shit that they spit out, that's like really impressive. And I'm curious to see how they did
That's
it.
pretty crazy.
That's easy. You just type .rand, open parentheses, close parentheses, and then you just let it run.
Oh, you're right. God, I
So,
should have seen that.
Computer.write game.
Run gamedesign.exe.
Oh, that's how I do it.
I love the fucking.
Bro, implementing multiplayer should only take a day.
Jacob did it for the 1 year he was at GDD.
Just turn up the graphics on level 3, guys. Easy peasy. I wonder if those like fucking online gaming school universities that used to advertise on like
Talk about Full Sail University.
G4.
That's where you can get your game design and development degree.
Oh no, I know Full Sail still exists. There were even worse places than Full Sail though that were like I think
the home of the NXT arena.
Yeah, like the fucking Brown University or something. Although I'm probably
Rookie against Brown University.
No, don't misconstrue that.
Monka TOS, bro. Monka TOS.
Oh my god. Fucking Joshim was talking the other day about some Twitch like moderator that was like supposed to be community and betterment or something.
Oh yeah, Ferociously Steph. I know where you're going with this.
Is it the Deerkin?
Yeah, the deer girl.
Okay, could you enlighten us a little bit more on that? Just because I don't have as many details as Joshim's seen too, so I don't want to grapevine it too much.
Ferociously Steph is a streamer on Twitch. I had not heard of her until I saw the Twitch clip people were circulating after she got appointed to the Twitch Advisory Safety Council
Safety
Board.
Advisory Council. Okay.
That.
Yeah.
Before other than her, I don't know any names on there other than Co Carnage.
Mm-hmm.
He's on there, which is that a vote of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else on there has gotten into any trouble that I've heard of. And they're supposed to be something like they're not like they can't be banned. They can't ban people.
Right.
I don't think.
But they'll like waggle their fingers at people. I guess.
I think they're supposed to help Twitch make rules. To an extent, right? Like help them give their perspective on like rules.
An advisory council, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, hey, here's the streamer perspective on how we think.
As far as Dev, she's had to deal with a lot of backlash because of, I guess, 3 things. One of them is the whole Deer Girl thing, which fucking weird.
Yeah.
Whatever, whatever, dude.
Whatever.
Like, it's not. But the other 2, one of them, which is the one that most people are talking about, is she had this Twitch clip go viral where she was seemingly arguing that voice chat in competitive games is unfair.
Yeah.
The base argument she was making, I mean, to the best of my understanding, is by nature of having voice chat in games, in order to be competitive at the highest degree, you have to talk.
Yes.
Which in turn gives up what she calls your linguistic profile, which means if you have a voice that, as she described, as not cis white male, you open yourself up to more harassment, which to an extent is true. The clip in particular was in reference to HOTS adding voice chat into game, and she thought it was a bad idea, which I think is pretty fucking dumb. Like sure, I understand the point that she was making about like having voice chat in a game. Can
it open the doors for toxicity?
That are more likely to get harassed. you're more likely to get harassed. But she's also talking about that in the context of you're playing a competitive game, to trying to eke out every competitive advantage, and the idea that not having voice chat in the game somehow levels the playing field is not how that works.
No.
You just have people in Discord or some sort of third-party application using voice chat, and not having it in the game just makes the playing field less even.
Yeah, I think like she's it sounds like she's attacking the wrong end of the problem. The problem is the toxic people who are calling people slurs and like, harassing women. Like you just ban those people and get them, like, make your play space an area where that kind of activity is not okay.
Ban those people isn't, particularly easy. It's not like, do you have any really great examples of a community that are like, perfectly free of racism or sexism or whatever?
Yeah. I'm gonna toss that one out to the Rainbow Six community, where it was like this, I don't want to say small niche thing, but like when it slowly got more popular, everyone was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
You know what's gonna come.
The gamers are coming, and with their hard R's.
That isn't gonna help, right? Like, League has no voice chat. It's still horribly toxic.
Exactly.
Voice chat just means that you punish people who solo queue, and you don't help the harassment issue at all.
I think I at least in my opinion, at least my take on this situation is like, yeah, okay, like, I don't know. So what? Like, that's my is like, everyone seems to be like, this motherfucker. She came for gamers by attacking the voice chat feature.
Right. So that's the thing, right? This is the thing that getting most traction. It's not the thing that people should. If people are going to have a problem with this, that's not what they should be talking about at all.
The other
thing that things that people would actually have any sort of grounds to talk about was when it was announced. She had this clip on her from Twitch where she was like, she's immune from banning and people should be afraid of her now, and she's power tripping on some shit, which is fucking, like, that is maybe something to criticize her for. And then also the other Twitch clip where she was like talking about, like, dancing on the tears of the people who were unrightfully banned because she can't be banned, which, like, those are not things I want to see on somebody who's on a Twitch security or like the safety board.
Yeah,
when thing's supposed to be protecting people from that sort of thing. But like, everybody's talking about how she's coming for the gamers. Oh, also she said that most gamers
are racist or something.
Supremacists, in her opinion. Which,
I mean,
okay, Skippy, like, what?
I would like to go back to the basis of this, in which we asked, I don't understand what's wrong with this person, and you list the two least innocuous things as evidence, and you're like, let's, and then you were like, oh yeah, but also she called gamers white supremacists.
Well, yeah, I started with those two because I was like, these things are the things that people are talking about.
The best for last,
and they're also not the important things that people should be talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Get the stuff.
I don't know. Most of them seem pretty dumb. Like, she's been getting, like, death threats, which is, don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't like. See, that's my only worry. Is like, I'm like,
fuck you, Corey. Sorry, Corey just added another hour of getting over it for me. So
maybe she's right. Fuck gamers. Nick's a gamer, and he just fucking flipped me off live on camera. Yeah.
Sorry, I had a gamer moment. My bad.
I don't know. My bigger thing is like you're right. I'm fine with people who are like, man, this seems like, maybe not the best thing, but also there's like just an underlying of the constant thing that happens, which is like someone says that, and then the collective hive mind is like, light up the pyres, boys, let's go on.
Yeah, it's real great. People are like, oh yes, I think this is bad, and then people are like, so you're saying we should be transphobic, and it's like, no.
No.
Like, I got it, I'm going for it. And it's like, I swear to Christ, I hate all of you.
I think about that fucking Gus Johnson bit too many times where
with Reddit?
He plays the Reddit character, and they're like, it's just two guys sitting in a room, and they're like, hey, did you hear about what that guy could have done? And he's like, yeah, man, that's pretty wild. And then Gus comes out as the personification of Reddit. He's like, whose careers we ending today, boys? They're like, Reddit, we literally only no. We got to destroy some lives. Where he live? That's
Twitter. Twitter literally every day is somebody new is over party. It's exhausting. It's never something for real. It's never real.
I had a breaking point where I was like, I unfollowed just a shit ton of accounts on Twitter, and I was like, all right, I'm fucking cutting everything out except for like, what's the Phyrexis Twitter account?
What is Sid Meier up to?
Just 6 posts.
Who
I
is?
mean,
most of what you said was entirely innocuous. Some stuff was somewhat concerning, but not anywhere close to like she shouldn't be on the board.
Hmm.
But that's been the majority of the situation. People are just wildly overreacting.
Also, I don't think they understand what a point of a board is. It's almost like you have a bunch of people on that board. So if one person's bad on the board, you have like a bunch of other people on the board.
Well, they also seem to think that she's going to be taking away your voice chat, which like the only like
How
if
are
we're
you
gonna
going
take
to
this
do that
the,
on
like,
Twitch?
to the most illogical extreme, right? She works
Mhm.
at Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch is owned by Amazon, and
Mhm.
Amazon runs a game dev studio that's put out one game. Theoretically, maybe if we were to just amplify the power 1,000-fold, Crucible won't have voice chat, and that's it.
Ring,
That's the only thing that'll change.
Reggie, can you get rid of voice chat in all games, please? Thanks.
I don't know. Honestly, the only part that actually bothered me was the part where she's talking about like cis white male voices, which like, sure, like male and female has a very vocal discrepancy, and like and stereotypically like voices that are typically associated with being like not straight, sure. What the fuck is a white voice?
Yeah.
If you're gonna look me in the goddamn eyes and say you're so articulate one more time, I'm gonna fucking go insane.
It's that scene from Black's Klansman or I guess every scene where he's on the phone and he's.
The Black Klansman. Don't bring like a really good work.
Well, so like
No,
like,
I mean, that's-
like saying like you have a white voice. I don't know. Maybe to other people it's not as ridiculous. But like
so she's
the black
literally
people,
talking about people sounding white. I think by white voice she's meaning by
No,
white
I'm not saying white
perspective.
voice like sorry to bother you, white voice. I'm saying people will say to black people, "You sound so articulate" when they don't speak any Ebonics all day.
Oh boy.
And that was like probably not her intention. But when I heard it the first time, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I think what she means by white voices is white perspectives.
I mean, yeah, probably, but
I mean, commonly I've when people refer like when they say like amplify X voices or do this voices, they're talking about amplify these perspectives or these viewpoints. I don't think they're
Well, no,
generally literally talking
no,
about
no.
you sound this way.
This was in the context of voice chat. She said that if your voice is not a cis white male voice,
I missed that context. My bad.
So that's why when I heard something like white voice, I was like,
yeah, I think I mean, it sounds like from that string of words, because you usually string those words together when you're trying to have a woke moment. You always string the cis white male, because those are the like oppressing group TM.
and like male, sure.
Yeah.
Cis and straight, sure. Like there's some voices that are stereotypically, like that voices that regardless of whether you are or not, that are stereotypically associated with being gay, and that will get you harassed as well, right?
Yeah.
And like if you have an accent, sure, but like saying, "Oh man, your white voice" is like,
Yeah.
Makes you think. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, I
I don't know.
guess.
I mean, I would point out that like Twitch streamers aren't what you would call professional. I mean, they do communicate for their profession,
Mhm.
but they are not professional communicators.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, is the point I will make. These
Yeah.
people are not, they're.
People out there getting
But-
on bridges, having
I don't know,
moments.
I mean, a lot of this stuff I'm pretty a little raw about, sort of targeted social media backlash because capping off probably a terrible week for losing people in professional wrestling. Yesterday, it was late last night, it was announced that Hana Kimura, who some people may know from this season of Terrace House, passed away at 22.
Holy fuck.
Which she took her own life, unfortunately, which is even more of a gun punch. And it was just like the whole thing stemmed from, well, it's one of these things you'll never really know what caused it, but the assumption people made is from the massive vitriolic backlash she received from the hardcore Terrace House fan base due to an incident that happened on the show, and which was framed as making her seem as bad guy, villain, and antagonist, like reality TV does.
Mhm.
And I mean, yeah, she, and this is saying something coming from like wrestling fans who are often terrible people to professional wrestlers, which she was. She was a professional wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
A rising star. Probably a generational talent, if I'm being honest. Like an extremely talented and charismatic performer.
Yeah.
And some of the things that were being said to her, like from Terrace House fans who were upset at how she interacted with this person that they liked on the show, were like, I was like, holy shit. And like that's coming from someone who has seen wrestling fans who are not the common refrain among wrestling fans on the internet is, man, why are wrestling fans are terrible people? Holy shit.
Why? It's a fucking show. Like, they, for one thing, I mean, we've been over this, but like, you know, wrestling is just another soap opera that's just with a lot of buff dudes and buff women that beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
But like, this is on top of this. It's like reality TV.
Reality show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And you know, I guess it just puts into perspective a lot of like the really toxic elements of fandom culture of like having yourself so wrapped up in a thing that, you know, you don't recognize, like that
you don't have empathy. Like, these people
you don't have empathy, and you don't realize what you're doing to real people. And I don't know, it was the thing I was thinking about all last night, because it was just
terrible. That's fucking awful.
22 years old, you know, and
that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, people just get on to I think, like, I don't know. It's so difficult to get into a headspace where anybody could see saying such horrible things saying them, and also saying them knowing that everybody else is saying them, and just dogpiling onto it. Like, getting into some kind of headspace where you think that is normal and or okay is just mind-boggling.
Yeah, you know, it's like, I get, you know, everyone has frustrations with people, especially people who you don't know, who they're seeing through a lens, through whatever medium, and like, whatever, I get it. It pisses you, whatever. But like, you don't have to, like, you really just don't have to verbalize that.
No.
Like, you don't have to, you know?
A
lot of people say the world is a cruel place, but it's only cruel because you choose to do that. You know, it's a choice to be a cruel person.
Yeah, you can you can have all the background and, you know, traumatic, you know, backstory, whatever. Like, as soon as you start to take that out on somebody else, that's on you. You know, like, there's no excuse.
Like, you know, and now and you know, like I said, capping off a terrible week in which former WWE wrestler Shad Gaspar passed away, who was in a tag team called Crime Time. He was swimming at a beach in Los Angeles, got caught in a rip current, and last thing he said, he was swimming with his son, and he gave his son to the lifeguards and said, "Save my son," which I think really tells you all you need to know about his character as a human being.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
And before that, there was a prolific wrestling writer named Larry Sonka, who, you know, not necessarily a name people will recognize because, you know, he's a wrestler, but for my own personal fan experience, he was an incredibly prolific wrestling writer. He reviewed every show from every company. If you needed to know if something was worth your time, he was where you stopped to see, hey, it's like, should I spend my time? Should I, like, buy this pay-per-view or buy this VOD on demand for this show? And he passed away from medical complications. He had his, fortunately, earlier last year, he had some medical condition which ended up with part of his leg being amputated. So it's been a rough week to be in the wrestling fan community and just have all this shit happen days apart. So.
Jesus Christ.
And to be capped off in such an utterly senseless.
Yeah, that's like, you know,
pointless.
Right. And that one was completely man-made. Like, yeah. Jesus Christ.
So,
well,
I'm probably more positive.
Yeah.
Though. What's the next topic? I'm sorry to bring such a downer, but it it
deserves to be
dovetails
talked about. Yeah, no, and I mean, I don't know. There is, I think that does bridge into something that I did kind of want to talk about that I've been hearing about recently. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but there's a sort of something bubbling in the sort of social media toxicity sphere with there was a recent beef between Keemstar and H3H3. And
H3.
yeah, they and then Critical made a video about that, which was addressing the fact that whether intentionally or not, Ethan basically incentivized or not incentivized. What's the word I'm looking for? Motivated, I don't know, something along those lines to get his fans to go after Keemstar's advertisers like G Fuel. And got him they pulled their sponsorship from G Fuel, and I think Spotify also pulled Keemstar's sponsorship. But the point that Critical was trying to make was that this opening this floodgate is basically just telling the rabid masses of Twitter, which we've just discussed as being, you know, for no matter who they're targeting, it's always fucking awful. Like, even against Keemstar, which I don't think is a person worth defending at all. Like, the ravenous hordes of whoever is following X YouTuber on Twitter, if they go after Y group, it's going to end badly for them, no matter what Y has or hasn't done. And so then just after that, the inverse happened where Keemstar's fans got H3H3's, I think, Old Spice sponsorship pulled by calling him out on some stuff that he did do and some stuff that he didn't do. But the point was that, like, the advertisers are not going to make any kind of serious investigation. They're just going to hear the massive Twitter hordes screaming at them at the top of their lungs, and then they're just going to be like, okay, we're going to just stop this, and not, like, they don't have any vested interest in actually discovering, you know, who's right or who's wrong. They're just going to pull out because everybody's yelling at them. And so it's going to be interesting to see if this goes any further, and if other YouTubers start to use this as a tactic to get their opponents just, you know, deplatformed entirely, monetarily, which is probably the strongest way to hit a bunch of people, is to get them, get sponsorships revoked. So, I don't know.
Also, the only way to, right? Like, with the exception of iDubbbz and Content Cop, nobody else has managed to actually, like, say, hey, person's kind of shit, maybe don't sponsor them, maybe don't help them out. Like, I can't think of a single, like, video that was like, hey, this person is a shitty person, that had any effect other than, like, the leafy Content Cop, right? Like,
yeah,
that's just that's how it is. If you don't go for their wallet, they're not gonna do anything.
I mean,
Right.
So, like, Lul, I agree with you on that. I think the only problem is that when you're doing something like this, you have to, like, think it through. And the problem is that the first thought process that Ethan should have had is, oh, maybe me, someone with a problematic history of saying shit, should probably not be the one leading the brigade against someone who's been caught saying really
With
like,
no
horrific-
prompting.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
Keemstar was accusing him of felony fraud.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about what Keem. The problem is that Ethan has always been, like, open to critique, and also, at least in my opinion, you can easily critique Ethan.
yeah. He's had some pretty interesting takes in the past.
And I'm not trying to say that Ethan and Keem are on the same level. That I don't want to construe that at all. But what I'm saying is that if you're going to attack somebody, you gotta you gotta know what you're getting into, and that the second you go in, you're probably going to be...
You're opening yourself up to the same kind of clapback.
If you don't do it properly, then people are just gonna say, "Oh, this guy was just fucking doing it to do it."
I mean, from what I've seen, well, the most things people have come for Ethan for have been the stuff where he was, like, repeating iDubbbz. Right? Like, I saw people talking about that.
I heard somebody said, or I think...
No, it's kind of worse than that. It's... even though I think it's not a good video, you should watch that Death of H3H3 video.
Oh, yeah, that's the one that Critical linked. Apparently there were situations in there that were highlighted where he was, like, saying the N-word or something.
No, trust me.
That's quoting iDubbbz almost.
Oh, okay.
universally.
Well, that's a more complicated situation than it is.
I mean, like,
It's
sure, just saying quoting iDubbbz doesn't mean he didn't say it, right? Like, but
It's
still.
and also, at least in my opinion, that's not the most egregious thing
Mm.
that Ethan has done.
I remember there was a whole kerfuffle about him, like, being like a World War II Germany or just trying to say that like the war crimes.
That's not it at all. Like, I personally don't want to reiterate it because if you're going to get it, you should
Okay,
get
yeah,
it
that's fine.
from the sources possible. And also, I can't remember every detail.
Yeah.
Me personally, not a big fan of one Ethan Klein.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. And while he has at times moved back towards trying to improve himself,
Yeah, he's gone back and forth.
Not a huge.
Yeah. I think even on like a larger level though, just like the idea of promoting this sort of essentially mob justice, modern mob justice through Twitter bombings. It's just you're giving power to the worst group of people possible in my mind, which is the Twitter hordes. And so like now that they know that they have this power, they're gonna
known about this power for years. They use it against TV personalities for.
But I don't think
long as...
I don't know. Maybe this is just
here's the actual problem. The actual problem is that the platform exists, and with that power and anonymity,
yeah,
it's gonna happen no matter what the fuck you do.
Yeah,
I think, and here's the thing: I'm a boomer. I've heard these names of these people you mentioned. I don't watch them. I don't care. I don't know about any of their stupid bullshit that they probably do that I would find insufferable.
Yeah.
And guaranteed. But I think it is very dangerous as someone who, if you have cultivated an audience, a wide-ranging audience, an audience with, you have audience reach, which is the reason people advertise on your YouTube channel, for example, or do, and you have a brand, all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is very, you need to tread carefully with how you talk and how you address them and how you call them to action, because it is, as seen here and in numerous examples before, pick your poison, whatever, Gamergate, whatever, it is very easy for you to fucking unleash a horde of people who you don't control, who you don't know, you've never met, you don't know them, you don't know their circumstances, you don't know
what they're going to do.
What they're going to do, and as we talked about before, when, against, a person, and, I don't know much about Keemstar. From what I do know about Keemstar, I know I probably would.
He's a shitbag.
Heavily dislike him.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yeah.
Sometimes
but that's beside the point.
Sometimes he docks people every other day.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Yeah.
You laugh about the swatting you cause.
Yeah. So, in that case, like, maybe that fucking mob justice brigade is maybe, this is the other thing, like, and I think part of this is also down on platform holders like YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
To fucking, hey man, you need to fucking tighten the shit up on the ship you're running here.
Yeah.
Because like, what, you're just letting this shit run.
Honestly, it's just incredible to me that
no support for people in this sense. And I mean, I guess that's the story with all these platforms. Is like platform owners like, hey, as long as you're making money, like, but then once their complications arise, they're like, oh no.
I think it really does astound me as like a side note that this mob justice that they exacted on Keemstar, they called him out for shit that he was doing. Like he's been doing shitty things for a long. There's a laundry list of things that you can call Keemstar out on, and that's pretty much what the mob did, and that's how they got G Fuel and Spotify to pull their sponsorships. But like it just astounds me that on the reverse side, when these companies. They had to approach, or I guess maybe Keemstar approached them, but either way, that company had to be like, did they not even do like a cursory look into them, or did they just not care?
Has sponsored Keemstar for almost as long as Drama Alert's been around.
Right. So then
G-Fuel's been a major sponsor, and like back to like when Keemstar first came onto the scene, he was just drama channel, and that was before people found the Twitch clips of him yelling about Alex and all that stuff. So GCU at the time like didn't have any reason to think that he was anything more than maybe a slightly edgy YouTube content creator.
I guess, but you would,
Also,
yeah.
Wait, the answer is yes and no. If it's someone who's like somewhat known and it's easy to find stuff on them, then yeah, they'll probably do a cursory look. But if it's like someone minor, they'll probably be like, all right, send us like 2-3 videos about what you do, and then we'll decide off of that.
Yeah, and like who knows what this marketing department's doing? If they like, if they're even like, there may be some marketing guy go like, hey, this person's got popular YouTube numbers. Like, let's, you know,
just capitalize on it.
Someone sent me this guy's video. It's pretty funny. We should do a deal. I see all these views on like, you know, the people who might be making these decisions at these companies, these people who are on advertising are not necessarily what you would call like necessarily the people who are in these communities around these YouTubers and have a picture of what's going on.
Yeah,
necessarily. So
additionally, we have to remember in terms of the world of advertising, even though YouTube and online revenue sources, that's mostly advertising. A lot of advertising firms still think in the mindset of like, we just got to get our stuff on TV, man.
Yeah, they're still hitting the. They don't. They see
like the TV and the online world is like, oh, people are just stacking up numbers. They're not like. I mean, that's changing, obviously. I imagine there are advertising companies or firms and stuff who are like, yo, what we do is YouTube advertising. Like, we try to find you like a person who fits the ethos of your product or whatever and fits specifically. But I'm sure some people are just doing the shotgun.
Yeah, they're just fucking full sending on anything that gets views, which is, I guess,
and like, and it's the thing. It's like YouTube as, like YouTube as a company, as a platform, like. We are not the customers of YouTube. Viewers are not the customer of YouTube. Advertisers are, because like Jacob alluded to, that's how YouTube
makes its money,
earns money.
Yeah,
and
true.
So
they lose less money.
Yeah, lose less. Okay, whatever. They're part of Google, so it's like whatever. It's just weird because like I don't know. There's so many problems. I've seen, with YouTube as a platform from the viewer end and from the creator end, because just like I've heard complaints from so many different segments of YouTube content creators who just have I'm a military and gun nerd and history nerd, and like they're like history people talking about history on YouTube have problems of getting their videos demonetized because oh, you're talking about war and violence. I'm like, they're like, that's the point. History. Like I'm sorry, this is objection. I get, but like it's like it's like they're not necessarily. It's not like, hey man, check out this awesome clip of fucking Imperial Japanese troops killing Chinese villagers in Nanking. It's like no, they explain.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, and then like what? And at the end of the day, like YouTube is a private company and they can do what I want. And one of the examples of that is like obviously firearms related content is very like. There are a lot of regulated and like stuff gets taken down all the time, and like from most of what I hear those people say is like, look, we get that YouTube is a private company and like they can set the rules. That's fine.
Yeah.
We would at least like those rules to be clear so we can understand what is allowed and what is not.
That they haven't been clear communicators at all.
Apparently, and I think that in a lot of aspects that is bad, is YouTube is just bad at communicating to content creators, like, what in so many ways.
Well,
so.
It's also like
which makes this problem worse.
It's almost like a weird self-fulfilling prophecy. Is that like going back to like your comment about tightening the ship? Is the problem is that YouTube wants to create the largest or any modern tech company wants to create the largest ship ever made, which contains all the world's people. And also, you then need to make sure that a hole doesn't spring in that ship simultaneously.
Yes.
Despite it being a ship big enough to contain every single
everything.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, at this point,
It's a quality quantity issue, and they've learned that where the money is the quantity, not
Yeah.
At
So
this point, if I personally was going to do content creation on YouTube, which I've thought about like doing some stuff on military history, tactical gear, video games,
Sure.
intersections of those three things.
Yeah.
Whatever. Maybe I'll get around to that during this whole time in the pandemic. When
You
I'm
got
just
nothing but time.
Not doing anything. I would need a better mic than Blue Yetis. And it's like, honestly, at this point, dude, I would literally treat YouTube as a fucking video hosting service.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
I would demonetize, like, I just not fuck with,
Because
like,
it's not worth the
demonetize
hassle.
the channel
Yeah.
and, like, just, hey, man, Patreon. Just if you like my shit, give me my money directly. Because, like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then, because you have so much more control just over that shit, and just like YouTube, literally video hosting, literally just a place for me to link videos, and you can subscribe to them. But the easiest way to know what I get, because it's not going to be fucked with by some weird algorithm, is to like at least follow me on Patreon, because then you'll get a notice of like, hey, I posted a new video.
Yeah.
Reliably. That's the crazy part of just like the way the YouTube algorithm works, and just like, yeah, sometimes even if people have the notification bell on, they won't get notifications of your video because the algorithm's like, nah.
And that's why at least I feel like why Patreon got so popular, but even like Twitch picked up in popularity, because I feel like a lot of the Twitch popularity recently happened around Adpocalypse time, because what happened is that a lot of people just lost all their cash because of YouTube, and so they had to find some other way. So
Twitch is like a way to directly interact, and people can directly give you money and all that shit.
It's easier for you to be like, oh, if someone is subscribing to me or donating to me, it's easier for me to know how much money I'm going to have at the end of the month, rather than let's see what CPM is this month, boys.
I've even seen a bunch of like video essay people, like they created this service called Nebula, which is like essentially a service for new essay, because they're like, listen, like fucking YouTube, like dealing with like copyright strikes and shit, like when clearly like their work they're putting in these videos and these essays like clearly meets fair use standards of like, they're not just like showing like they're not like when they do something on like a movie or whatever, they're not like showing you the entire movie, they're like editing clips of it and their voice of it, and it's clearly a critical work of like
I think analysis. I still have a strike on my channel because of a fucking Star Wars music video that I tried to put up like 2 years ago. It's just like, this is definitely fair use, guys. Please chill out. But yeah, Nebula I think was being used by
solo music.
No, shut up. God damn it. No, the fucking I think Tears You uses Nebula. I think those are guys guy that I know of.
It's that Lindsay Ellis adjacent.
Yeah.
Patrick Willems, another guy. I think a couple other
the nerd writers. I think not nerd writer. Like John and Hank Green. I'm gonna help with creating it.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, like, YouTube to this point, like, video hosting service.
I should go back and give Nebula another try, because that's kind of the thing though, is like, if something like that were to succeed and give a model for successful platforms additionally, then maybe it will at least solve that problem, which is like, all right, now we have the smaller ship that we're dealing with, and so it's much easier to plug the holes in that one rather than you were just describing people.
The problem is YouTube is just so convenient. Like, I see this all the time, because like it feels like every 2 years someone in the gun community is like, I'm making a fucking video site for gun people. Hell yeah. But like it never gets anywhere, because like YouTube is just such a convenient platform. It's so ingrained. Everyone's already on it, And it's like it's this annoying. It's weird because it's such a small thing. But it's this annoying extra step to like, oh, I have to go to a different video site if I want to like get all these firearms videos. It's like, So it's just like
it's so annoying. It's like, I don't know. That's
Vimeo great again.
Exactly. Bring it
Big
back.
brand.
Back at Vimeo, and we can have him be our man on the inside.
Oh my god.
To wrap about Twitter too, where I'm like, man, I really wish I didn't have to fucking use this website. I wish.
You don't have to. I don't. It's really like, I don't know, man. I am completely satisfied by people just posting the when little post links to Smash stuff on Twitter. I'm just like, this is enough Twitter for me. I'm seeing the content that is interesting to me and my friends. I'm good. I don't need any more.
My Twitter experience is okay, I think, in terms because of like, I mean, I've cultivated follows, and the conversations I have, like when I actually have a conversation with people on Twitter, it's generally someone within my, like I'm not replying to like random game people on Twitter generally.
Not
Like
talking to the
when I'm
gamers.
replying to people on Twitter, I'm talking to like other people in the sort of military equipment field and like having conversation, and we're just having,
Yeah.
because we're having general conversations, and that's always been pretty positive. But like, yeah.
I feel like it's crazy. I remember, well, even to this day, like somehow Twitter comment moderation is like worse than YouTube's. It's so bad.
I mean, YouTube's
like-
is literally just if your video is made for children, you don't get comments.
People, the leadership at Twitter just doesn't understand their site. Like,
No.
they implemented this whole like thing for people who are verified about like who can reply to this tweet and something, and it's like, oh cool, so like I could set up a thing so only people I tag can reply. But then people have discovered like, oh, here are a bunch of ways where like people can just get around that, and it's just like, oh my god, they can't even. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, all
don't
right.
know. It also really to me doesn't feel like like I don't know what it is, but every time I look at Twitter, the website itself, or even Twitter the app, I'm like, who designed this? The design of this is aggravating me.
Yeah.
And like, it's one of the things Google Plus did right was like the whole circle system of like having these different groups you could select of like who I want like this tweet or like this post to be for, and who I want to like send it out to and interact with. And I'm like, that was a good idea, but unfortunately it was in Google Plus, which no one used, so no one is implementing it elsewhere. Because I think that was a really good way to like fucking cut out some of the bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know. To wrap things up, though, we are well over an hour at this point. But to go back to the original conversation of using Twitter mobs, I think Beekman, you put it well, but just saying that you are dealing with a unknown quantity with your Twitter followers, and I think putting that to use in such a manner of it just basically enacting mob justice is always going to be a recipe for a really dangerous time. Like regardless of the actual moral stance of the person that you're attacking, it's just you can't control the people that you're sending after them, and so I think that's just something that should not be proliferated. I don't know, like just
yeah. And to wrap it up more, I think it happens because as we said, the platform holders have inadequate responses to this, like
right.
reporting, like in terms of reporting and stuff. Like
until the people in charge of Twitter and YouTube can actually get off their asses and start moderating things better, it falls on the creators to understand the power they have and use it responsibly. And like regardless of I would say Keemstar probably got what he deserved after all the bullshit that he's done, but like it just I feel like it sets a precedent, and that can be unfortunate for the future. I don't know.
I think the precedent has already been set. Like I said, this has happened for years now. Like Gamergate is the biggest example I can see of just like there were people like
It's just weird that it hasn't. I don't feel like I've heard anything about similar kind of situations to Gamergate from then up until recently. I don't know why this in particular is blowing
Gamergate was sort of like
yeah.
the ominous template for what happened during like the 2016 election and like what our political discourse is like now, and like
yeah,
that was the real fucking canary in the fucking coal mine for a lot of this shit.
Yeah, but unfortunately, unlike regular canaries in the coal mine, where we go, oh shit, the canaries that we should probably get out of this fucking coal mine, we were like, I don't know, what if we started a campfire down here?
Light up these cigars!
Get all some Cuban cigars, light them up, boys! Jesus Christ. Yeah, anyways, alright, I think that's gonna cut it for this week. Thank you all for joining me. We'll be coming around, got the daily stream still going. Video on demand is up on YouTube. That is my video hosting platform that I pretty much do nothing else on, so please check that out there. And yeah, I'll see everyone around. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
All right, stream.